All right, you already know what it is, family. Chauncey, aka the Black Separatist, live in the flesh, right back at you once again with another GMOG Media TV spotlight. All right, so just heard about this story about comedian and actress Monique, who's talking about she wants to boycott Netflix. All right, so I'm gonna get into this real quick with my commentary. Um, Now she did a video on Instagram, which I have not watched yet. I will watch the video right now. This will be a live reaction to this video, and I'll come back with my commentary and give you guys my thoughts on this. All right, so let me switch screens, and here we go. Turn on my volume so you guys can hear it. All right, here we go.
Hey, my loves. I am asking that you stand with me and boycott Netflix for gender bias and color bias. I was offered a $500,000 deal last week to do a comedy special. However, Amy Schumer was offered $11 million, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle $20 million. Then Amy Schumer went back and renegotiated $2 more million because she said I shouldn't get what the men are getting, they're legends. However, I should get more, and Netflix agreed. When we asked Netflix to explain the difference, why the money was so different, they said, well, we believe that's what Monique will bring. We said, well, what about my resume? They said, we don't go off of resumes. Then we asked them, what was it about Amy Schumer? And they said, well, she sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a big movie over the summer. Is that not Amy Schumer's resume? And then Netflix said, by the way, we believe Monique is a legend too. Why should I get what the legends are getting? Please stand with me in this boycott of Netflix. I love us for real. Hey, my loves.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. Okay, all right. Um, I can respect what she's trying to do. I respect what she's trying to do. All right. Um, but I don't agree with what she's trying to do, and I'm gonna tell you why. So first of all, she mentioned Amy Schumer. I'm gonna be honest. I never heard of no Amy Schumer. I don't know who that is. I guess she's white, a white comedian. I never heard of her. I'm not following her work. Um, I don't follow any white comedians, to be honest. I don't follow any. I just got done watching Dave Chappelle's special on Netflix, and yes, I do watch Netflix, and I pay for Netflix. Um, so regarding what Monique is saying, so she basically says that Netflix lowballed her a deal, and she was comparing herself to basically the top two comedians on earth, which is Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. Um, I mean, those guys are the top two best comedians on earth. Pretty much go down in history as one of the best comedians of all time. So, yeah, putting big. I'm assuming she's trying to compare herself to an equivalent of herself, and she's nowhere near the equivalent of a Chris Rock or a Dave Chappelle. Nowhere near. So if you are comparing yourself to Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, that means you're looking for a 7 or 8 figure deal, which is I'm pretty sure that's what they got. No. Definitely don't agree with that. I'm pretty sure you guys watching don't agree with that either. She's nowhere near the level of a Chris Rock and a Dave Chappelle. Okay? And I don't know, again, I don't know who Amy Schumer is, but she threw her name out there, and she said that she sold out Madison Square Garden. Okay? Cool. If she's selling out large arenas like that, then and you're putting yourself in that category, I can't remember the last special that Monique did that was, that drew that kind of crowd. You know, I can't imagine that. But here's the thing. So she went on Instagram or social media, posted this video saying that she was lowballed an offer from Netflix, and she's comparing herself to two of the best comedians of all time, one of the best comedians of all time, actually, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. Right now, okay, and when I'm saying those two guys will go down in history as one of the best comedians of all time. But she is Okay, she's doing an ineffective way of playing the victim role of racism, white supremacy. Okay. On this channel, I talk about counter racism, and I offer my suggestions on how to replace this broken system of injustice with a system of justice. So, people classified as black or African American, like myself, are victims of racism, white supremacy. That is a reality that we live in. However, this instance here, okay, this instance here does not apply. This instance here does not apply to being a victim of racism, white supremacy. This issue here only affects her in terms of her worth in her field, which is her profession as a comedian. That's what it comes down to. You see, the dominant white society, they'll pay you whatever they think you are worth, because at the end of the day, they control the mechanism, right? So they'll pay you trinkets and they'll make their money back 5 times over in the billions. And that's what Netflix is. It is an entity that's controlled and owned by the dominant white society. And so they'll give her, let's say hypothetically a few million, and they'll make that money back 5 times over, right? So she's looking for those trinkets from the dominant white society, right? Trinkets as in millions of dollars. But she says they lowballed her, right? Lowballed her compared to legendary comedians like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. Okay? That is not the right instance of actually having a substantial case of racism, white supremacy. This is only benefiting her in this cause. All right? So I disagree with her saying boycott Netflix just because she was lowballed her an offer. So let's just say they gave her an offer that she agreed to. Would she be on Instagram and social media talking about boycott Netflix? Absolutely not. But because they, quote unquote, lowballed her and gave her, a deal she didn't agree with, she wants to boycott Netflix and she wants to claim color bias and gender bias. Right? Which again, it's a ineffective way of playing the victim role of racism, white supremacy. Point blank and simple. Another thing I wanted to point out is that she mentioned a couple years ago, and I got the article here. She mentioned a couple years ago that she was blackballed from Hollywood. And this was in 2015, she said that. And I have the article here where you guys can see it. Right? She says that she was blackballed from Hollywood after winning her Oscar. And Lee Daniels, the director of, which movie was that? Precious? Yeah, Precious. Lee Daniels, director of Precious, says after her role in Precious, and she won her Oscar as Best Supporting Actress, she was blackballed. So why didn't she go on social media? And that movie came out in 2009. Why didn't she go on social media and say boycott Hollywood? They're not giving me my fair shake in Hollywood. The system of Hollywood that's owned and controlled by the dominant white society is not supporting me in my cause. So therefore, let's boycott Hollywood. Let's create our own black Hollywood where we own and control the infrastructure. Why didn't she say that? Right? And the thing about boycotting Netflix, right? Again, when it comes to boycotting things, it's very simple logic. You need to replace it with something equivalent. So do we have a black-owned Netflix equivalent? Do we have an idea to create a black-owned Netflix equivalent? Right? And I'm going to give 2 great examples. I'm a huge fan of LeVar Ball. Right? So when LeVar Ball came out and said, my boys are not going to be signing with a major apparel shoe company like Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour. I have my own brand called Big Baller Brand, where we're going to have our own merchandise, our own shoes, our own apparel, independent. I already have it lined up. I got everything in place. I got my infrastructure. I got everything in place. All right, I'm good to go. Right? That's what you call replacing something that already exists. You see, Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour already exist, but yet he created his own brand, right, that is successful right now independently. You can't tell me it's not successful as an independent brand, an independent apparel shoe company. It is vastly successful, and that's off the marks of mainstream media that's continuing to promote Big Baller Brand and LeVar Ball and his children. Point blank and simple. Those are facts. All right? So that's what I mean by you need to replace something that exists with something else. She didn't promote that. All she said was boycott Netflix. Example number 2. And I, you know, I don't always agree with this guy all the time. You know, I don't always agree with him all the time, but he puts out product. He puts out tangible products, and he does tangible things, and that's Tariq Nasheed with his Hidden Colors series, and most recently 1804. If you notice, none of his documentaries are on Netflix. They are being distributed independently. He said, "I am not depending on the dominant white society's infrastructure to distribute my movie. I'm going to do this independently." Right? And that's what he's doing. And it's highly successful. So that's another way where you are replacing something that doesn't exist. Or, excuse me, replacing something that exists with something else that's equivalent to what you're trying to do. So, you know, with this boycott Netflix thing, again, she's not, she's not saying, let's boycott Netflix and start this company. You know, let's promote, for example, Black Junction TV, right? Which is a black-owned YouTube equivalent, right? But we need as far as I know, we don't have one yet. If we do have one, leave the links and information in the comment section. We need our own black-owned equivalent Netflix. So it's not just as simple as let's boycott Netflix. What can we replace it with? And for me, and I like when I went back to the story with H&M. As soon as that story went viral, as soon as I heard about it, when I heard about the story of the black child model wearing the hoodie that said the best or the coolest monkey in the jungle, I said, yo, it is a permanent boycott, indefinite boycott for me. And I replaced it with a black-owned clothing company in Miami. Yes, so I am not shopping at H&M anymore. I stopped cold turkey. Is an indefinite boycott. Put it back on my screen so you guys can see. It's an indefinite boycott. And I am shopping, getting my clothes at a Miami boutique that sells fashion, clothing, shoes, okay? And it's black owned. Right? So we have to get out of this mind state of let's boycott. We know we need to build. We need to replace. We need to build and replace what we are boycotting. Right? Same with the NFL. A permanent ban of the NFL. We need to replace the NFL with the black-owned equivalent. Point blank and simple. You know? So, yeah, like I said, I don't agree with her premise. I respect what she's trying to do. She's trying to come out with new material. She supposedly is blacklisted from Hollywood. But again, she is trying to promote her new material as a comedian. And she's saying she's not paid what she's worth. I can agree with that. But at the same time, you are depending on the dominant white society. Yeah, my child came in. But anyway, it's almost over. That's my youngest son. That's CJ, Chauncey Jr. But anyway, she's saying she's not paid what she's worth, and she's going to them, the dominant white society, the Netflix controlled infrastructure, to say, you're not giving me what I'm worth, therefore I want to boycott Netflix. All right? And again, you can't compare yourself to legends like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. Those guys are legends. They're going to get what they're worth. They're going to get 8-figure deals. I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about this girl, Amy Schumer. I don't know who she is. I don't follow any white comedians at all. So I take that back. Except one. Who's that dude that goes on BET all the time? Can't think of his name. The white dude, the white funny dude that goes on BET. I saw him on Def Comedy Jam. I can't think of his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Leave his name in the comment section. I follow him because he's funny, and he's married to a black lady too. I think I saw his reality show. I can't think of his name right now, but he relates because he caters to the black audience, and I like him. He's funny. But yeah, like I said, family. When it comes to boycotting, and the premise of Monique is saying she wants to boycott Netflix, you need to have the mind state of replacing something with the equivalent of what you're boycotting. It's just that simple. And again, I think this is an ineffective way of proclaiming you're a victim of racism, white supremacy. This is an ineffective way because this, not only that, the dominant white society is going to use this as saying, hey, you see this right here? This is race baiting. She has no base. She doesn't know what she's talking about. We gave her this amount of money, and look what we did over here with these black guys. We gave them lots of money, right? This is an ineffective way of doing that. Of, claiming you're a victim of racism through Netflix. In her words, colorism, right? Is that what she used? Colorism? Color bias and gender bias. Yeah, she said color bias and gender bias. Ineffective way and terrible examples, in my opinion. Just my opinion. All right, so anyway, those are my thoughts on that, family. Leave your comments down below about what Monique said about this boycott she's talking about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. All right, family, until next time, make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. Pay attention to my description. All you got to do is click the link, read all my social media. I'm not on Facebook. I have no presence on Facebook. Okay? I have Twitter, Instagram, Black Spot, of course, YouTube, and blackjunction.tv. All links will be down below in the description. Make sure you lock in and follow me. Hit that notification bell on all my content on YouTube, on this channel. If you're new, please subscribe. All right. Until next time, family, Chauncey, a.k.a. the Black Separatist, signing out. Peace.